Fine. So am I coming through okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah? Cool. The the hoodie is staying up today because my hair is absolutely terrible.
Which everyone, we're live. So now, Jay and MrWillGuitar, we're ready. Alright, yeah, we'll just wait for everybody to come up. Hopefully everybody's here. I have chat over my face. Brilliant. If I increase the desktop audio to full so everybody can hear you.
Hi Matt, meet Jelly. And Tarman.
Oh, we got MrWillGuitar. Tarman can't make it, he said.
Hello?
I think he's got college in the morning.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you, Will.
Hey. Oh, cool, how's it going?
Not too bad, how are you?
Yes. Hi.
I'm good, thanks. I
That
just
was
got
weird.
back.
Got back from where?
I was, well, it sounds dodgy, don't it? I sort of see my folks. I'm allowed, it's the bubble, it's cool, and I get tested. I help them with their knotted muscles, with the massage gun and these knuckles.
Damn.
Not many people get to give it back to their parents, do they? They scream, they writhe, and I sit there and take it.
And how much would a service like that put me back?
Oh, you need it doing?
I do.
Well, I don't know. Just pay it forward in kind.
I can do that. I can do that.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. How are you, bro?
I'm good. I've just finished Justice League after part 3.
You did it in 3 sittings.
Yep, Thursday night, Friday night, and tonight.
I've been too scared to start.
It's definitely worth it if that's your bag.
I'm sure. Yeah.
A lot of people that said have sat down and watched it in one sitting said it flew by. So
Gary said on his stream, man, on his twitching, he said it seemed to fly by. But I'm most scared of starting it, falling asleep and waking up 3 hours in, and then I've seen a bit 3 hours in, and the idea is stressing me.
Hey, Matt and Tarman in the chat. We're just waiting on Jay to see if he pops in. He said he was coming on.
Bastard. Yay.
How's everybody's weekend been?
All good.
I had my car battery replaced. Mr. Racing Car Driver, I knew you'd like that.
Awesome.
Because it was dead.
It was dead.
Didn't jump start it yourself?
The RAC man came, says, I can start it, but this battery is dead, and the second you switch the engine, you won't be able to start it.
Damn.
Just like Formula One, like racing car, you opened it up.
Diddy knows all about car batteries.
Exactly. Look at his face
know a
light
bit.
up and mention that.
I know a bit.
I don't know anything.
Alright, Jay.
Oh, MrWillGuitar.
Hey, chat, is the sound okay? Can you hear everything okay? Just check on the people in the chat, make sure they can actually hear us.
They should come and join us.
They should. This is open to everyone.
Yeah, man.
Jay has been away for a while. Are you joining? Going in? jointing. Bloody predictive text. Joining in. Jointing in.
You'll know what that means.
Oh yes. What were you all drinking tonight? I got faux fat Coke. You got a glass of...
I got a glass of gin.
Gin?
Yeah, I'm drinking gin today.
It looked off colour, so I'm guessing that's not straight, neat gin.
No, it's lemonade.
Oh, okay. Have you just... What variety of drink do you have, Mr. Will?
Me? I have.
Ooh, that's a Pepsi. Ooh, that's my wife's favourite. She's all about the
My
max.
wife has good taste.
I gotta go full fat, me. The chat says, sounds all good. I'll give Jay another minute, if not, we'll have to start and he can pop in. We're just going to have a general chat just about remakes, remasters, reboots, reimaginings. So, he could pop in anytime.
Yeah.
What you drinking, G?
I got a bit of juice. Like a little bit.
Ooh, is that apple juice?
Honest juice.
Orange juice.
Orange juice.
Orange.
Ooh, fresh. Oof, very posh.
Squeeze it to yourself.
Oh, yes. Nope, Jay's on his mobile.
Come on, Jay! I've not heard Jay talk, you know.
There he is.
I think he's deep voiced. I'm right, aren't I?
Alright,
Yeah.
let's move this chat box over in the corner. And we'll pop in there. Howdy. Are you there, Jay? Pog. Done. Oh. We got life. Nope.
That Master Jay's teasing us.
He's making a grand entrance. Well, he's totally gone now.
Come back, Jay. There we go.
That's right, Tarman, the anticipation. Oh, there's the chat. There we go. We'll move it back up here. There we go. I think Jay needs some of that fibre cable. It's hard to look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look here. Diddy.
No,
Diddy.
I've got the stream on here. I've got my laptop here.
I know, I've got the... On the big TV is where my Streamlabs is running. I've got my tablet right here, which I'm reading the chat, but then I got to remember my camera's actually on top of the monitor. Oh, you can see my cat in the background there. He's getting in comfy. Gigi. Yeah, he's not into it. But yeah, if you have a cat on your stream, that makes the viewers go up dramatically, right?
Is that right?
I think so.
I heard the internet was all about people's
Cats and selfies.
Just a place to share cat pictures, isn't it?
What kind are there types of cats? There's a big ginger cat round here, round this.
A big Tom.
Is that what they?
Usually,
Yours is a Tom.
that's a boy, but I think aren't ginger cats all boys? Did I imagine that fact? Someone might need to fact check me on that one.
He's great though, or she. Like, like cats can be timid. This one's not. So, would like try and get in the car with me and stuff.
That's nice.
I'd open the car, he'll try and jump in, and that's brilliant.
Is he the one who killed your battery?
It could be, sabotage.
Cats can be jerks. Come on, Jay, what's going on?
Jam Master Jay!
No, Jay, we're not hearing you or seeing you. Try connecting and disconnecting.
I can just see the image.
Yeah, I can see the candy man.
Is that what that is? It's small, Sark.
I think so. That's me looking at the monitor. That's where I go like that. No, nor seeing you.
Did you watch the G-Elektrik?
Say again?
Did you watch this Justice League movie?
Oh yes. I watching.
He was the first, I think, in the Discord.
Oh, okay.
I think over here came out the day before it was planned. I mean, I hear it was on Thursday, but I watched it on Wednesday. And I watched it in one sitting. It was good. I mean, I enjoy it. It's a big difference.
Very big difference.
The theater release.
It makes sense now.
You can see. I mean, I hear a lot of people complaining about the length of the movie and things like that, but I think that's what makes it work. All characters have more development and more time to breathe, and it's a different style of movie. I mean, you can really see the difference between the Joss Whedon style of filmmaking and the Snyder style of filmmaking. It's a very different movie, but I enjoyed it and I think it's good. I recommend it.
Isn't that a strange place we are where people complain about how long a movie is? It's like, it's too long. It's like, if the movie's is good and is, entertaining you, like, hell, I'd take a 10-hour movie if it's going to be good. Like, get your money's worth.
As David did, I mean, he did it in different times. He didn't watch it all at once. And the movie is in framing chapters. I mean, it's not necessarily to watch it the 4 hours at once.
Yeah, they have big chapter cards, so you could just, when a chapter card come on, go, well, I'm taking my break there.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
but people binge watch series, don't
exactly. And they're practically just long movies.
That's what I'm going to say. The same people that say that the movie is long, at the same time says things like, I watch a whole season of some series, like 10 hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's even longer.
It's kind of a hypocrite. Like, it's like a point to criticize the movie, It's like to bring negative points about it.
We can hear you, Jay.
Hello? Is the length.
Oh, hello. Sorry, guys. Hi.
Can't see you though.
I'm here.
Hi, Jay.
yeah. Hi, hello.
Can't hear you,
Electric,
but can't see you.
Yeah, we can't see you, Jay. I don't know if you could toggle your camera on and off.
And you need to be
I'll
several
try
of
messing
them
around
down.
with it for a bit. But I hope you can all hear me.
Yeah, we hear you perfect.
You can hear. Okay, cool. Hopefully the camera should sort of adjust itself now. But yeah, I'm here.
Hello.
Hope everyone's doing well. And a good night.
Well, Jay,
Hello?
maybe try to reconnect again in Discord.
Yes.
Like log out and enter.
Or just jam the camera off and on.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried though. So if I do log out, I might not be able to get back in. So I might just have to make do with just the voice. But I'll try again.
Cool.
You got that
No
London
problem, you know.
London internet. That's your problem.
Yes, I know. You're right. You're absolutely right. I really need to sort it out. So yeah, sorry guys. But I'm here. In voice.
Good to have you.
Good. See you guys.
Alright, should we make a start? Hopefully Jay will pop in video-wise later on.
Yes, sorry guys, yes.
Alright, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to the 4th Off the Shelf Reviews community chat. Wow, we got feedback. Anyway, excuse that. Tonight we are joined by Diddy in the top left corner. We've got G-Elektrik in the middle. We've got MrWillGuitar on the right. I'm the host, David Binmore, in the bottom left. This is where I don't know my left and right. And hopefully in video later on, we've got Jay in the right.
Hello, hi there.
Tonight we're talking about reboots, remasters, remakes, reimaginings, we could say. Basically, it's going to be kind of a fluid chat. We're just going to throw out films and just a general discussion on our thoughts about remakes. Does anybody want to start?
I can start.
Oh, you did your
You want me to
research.
start?
You did some
I
work
did my
this
research,
week.
and I just want to prove it to you all. I
My God.
actually did research.
Oh, I am
Right.
impressed.
So I'm going to start off with the most obvious one that I think a lot of people probably have, and it's the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. So-
Cool.
Yeah, I put this on here. So I've gone for good points and bad points. Good points, the graphics. Oh my god, the graphics. Such an improvement. They reimagined a lot of the iconic places. They still had the same feel, but in the Resident Evil, the RE engine, should I say, sorry. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful, very lifelike. And quite realistic in terms of the way they did the layout for the police station looked more reminiscent of what a police station could look like if it was an old museum. So yeah, I really like that. I've also got down the blend of the Resident Evil 4 combat style, so the over-the-shoulder shooting method, which so originally they had the fixed camera angles, and that was perfect for sort of keeping you guessing, because you don't know what's around the corner. You could hear the zombies moaning, but you couldn't actually see them. And because they made parts of it very dark, and it was very close, although it was over the shoulder, it was still very close to the character. So I got jump scared and a hell of a lot, most of the time on the stairs in the police station, that you think you know what's coming, and then a zombie would just fall down from a flight of stairs. Also, the highlight, I think, of Resident Evil 2, Mr. X. So I played the game in the dark with headphones on, and the second that he comes in and you can hear the footsteps going around the police station, absolutely craps your pants. There was a few times where I was like, nope, I'm done. And I'd either run to the nearest save room, or I'd just turn the game off. So
I came across a Facebook post that I put up when I was actually playing it when it first came out, So I luckily got it a few
Yeah.
days early when I pre-ordered. But the status was, yeah, Mr. X just came out. I'm turning it off for the night. I just got, it must have been about 11 o'clock at night, and I was just like, I can't handle this anymore tonight. I've got to turn this off.
And in a way, I like the way they introduced him. I just wish they hadn't done it in the cuts, like in the not the cutscenes, but in the trailers and in the in the demos and stuff. They showed his introduction. Now, I think it would have been a lot better if after you, because you have to put out the fire, don't you, for the helicopter? After you do that and you walk in, naturally you would normally think everything's fine, and then to have him just like move the helicopter out.
Yeah, he just lifts it, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And I think because I'd seen all the demo stuff, I knew exactly how to get out of that encounter. I knew, okay, well, if I run back, I can just, goad him into a punch and I could just run around him. And I got that because I'd seen all the demo stuff. So, other good points I put down were changes to some of the story elements. So the sewer was slightly different.
Yeah.
And now I'm really struggling to figure out what the hell was different. Did I write anything down for that?
The Martinez police line también also was different.
Yes, it was. You're right.
Are these the ones Gary's been
The
playing?
plays out differently.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen it. So one's like Tekken looking, and the other's like the modern one.
Yeah.
We're talking about the nice looking one. The one with the awesome lighting. I really love the lighting in those games. Because it's 2 takes place mainly at night. And just the light and the coming through the windows just even makes it even more spookier and creepier. Walking through some of those hallways.
With the fact that you can... sorry, say that again? Go on.
How long before they actually did the remake? Because the original, you see how different it is, but how many years apart are they?
Well, 3 came out...
Like 20 years, almost?
Yeah, 3 came out last year. 2 came out the year before, I believe. They came out in 1998. Resident Evil 2?
Yes.
Yeah?
Literally didn't
G's saying yes, so we go with G.
Yeah, so...
I mean...
Yeah, go on. No, go on.
No, go on.
No. So I was going to say, number 3, they changed the story a little bit. I like what they did with the fact that Carlos now goes to the police station instead of Jill. I actually quite liked that. And it does make more sense, I guess. So I've got some bad points here because they need to be highlighted. So for Resident Evil 2, bad points. The A and B scenarios were not different enough. If you look at the originals, the A and B scenarios affect each other a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
In this game, it just completely is redundant. There's absolutely no point. It's only the Mr. X shows up slightly earlier, I believe. In number 3, they cut a lot of content. So the clock tower was missing. And that was one of the big points. Another bad point is, although Mr. X was fantastic and brilliant and would chase you around, Nemesis doesn't. And
it's more scripted, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a hell of a lot more scripted. I love the fact that they give him all the weapons. So the flamethrower, I thought that was brilliant. But I just wish he'd chased you around more. Like I would have much preferred him to chase you around the entire game, which is what he did in the first one, in the original. Sorry, should I say? So that was a bad point for me. His transformations as well. They tried to make him very much like Birkin, and I didn't appreciate that. So after you burn him on the train, spoiler alert, I guess, he comes back in like a dog kind of form. He runs on all 4s, which is not something Nemesis actually ever did. So I didn't like that. Oh, and the other one I actually wrote down here. They didn't do Nemesis correctly. He was a little bitch. So I think what I meant by that.
Good notes.
What I meant by that was
Yeah.
you could down him in a grenade and he would just like fall to the floor. Whereas I think with Mr. X, you had to shoot him a lot to get him to just take a knee. And the last thing on that is the lack of spiders in both of the games. They were prevalent in both of the games, one in the subway, and I think one was in the clock tower for Resident Evil 3. And they're completely non existent. And after they did a fantastic job with Black Tiger in the original Resident Evil 3 remake, like when he comes down, and his introduction was brilliant. So I think they missed a real trick there. So there you go. I actually spoke for more than a minute.
That's awesome.
I totally agree. And it's a good to see both in perspective. Like, I mean, even if the modern ones are very good, the classic ones have very special things about it. Like, I think one thing that I really like from the classics is that they are very cinematic. Like they were built in a cinematic way with the camera perspective. It's like you are watching a movie. You know, you're going to a place and the camera is framing certain way, and you advance more and the camera change perspective, and that aspect is very good. And they also use a very special technique that was very innovative and cool at that time, is that they use pre-render backgrounds. You know, they pre-render the backgrounds and look really good by that time. I mean, I remember the first time I watched Resident Evil. One of the, I think was one like the first or second game that I ever played on PlayStation was Resident Evil 2. And the first time I saw that, like, blow my mind. That was like watching a movie. The intro of the game was really good. Like the CGI cinematic intro was really amazing to see. And some of that translate in the modern games, but they are very modern adaptations. Like the gameplay, as you say, like is more like games are now with the camera behind. The way you aim and move is very modern. And many people complain about that. Like many people wanted still the tank controls and the camera perspectives, but I think that is I think maybe can work now in modern games. Like some games still do that, you know, like it's not a bad thing, but I think it was a good move in the new Resident Evil ones to change the gameplay also. But I think the classic still hold up. Like you can still play the classic and they are really good games. Still, if you play it today, they are really good. They don't look bad. I mean, they still have the like the blocky, low polygon graphics, but you can still enjoy them. And they are very serious games with violence or gore and things like that. I mean, the classics are really good, but also agree with you that the remakes can be a better experience now in these days.
So,
which do you prefer?
See,
or which had the
would,
most fun when you first got it?
It's hard to say really because I was quite young when I first picked up even the original Resident Evil. My dad had to buy it for me. Yeah, absolutely not knowing what it was, and yeah, I mean you get a lot of jump scares from there because at the time they were very realistic graphics. What with the pre-rendered backgrounds, it enabled the scene that you were in to be a lot more detailed, even though you couldn't really interact with it. You know, it's not like today's kind of graphics. I think for me now, replaying them both back, I tend to play the originals as kind of like a speed run. So you're looking at doing certain tasks, and you kind of know where things are and what kind of happens. So you kind of run it on autopilot. Whereas with the new ones, it's I think you're playing more for not to speed run it, but to kind of enjoy the atmosphere that you're in, or the location that you're in. I had a point about the fixed camera angles. Oh yeah, so in the originals, the fixed camera angles. When I was younger, I used to always think of them as like, an actual CCTV camera could be at that angle and be viewing that sort of scene, like down the streets and stuff. So it was quite voyeuristic a method, whereas you're more trying to think of the right word. It's not intimate. That just sounds wrong. You're not more intimate with a character, but I can't think of the right word. But
I get what you mean. It's like like a external view, like it's a really third person. You are controlling him, but it's like you are not there with him.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people didn't like the switch to over the camera view, because they thought it was going to be more like like 4, 5, and 6, more action based.
Yeah, they were more kind of arcadey, wasn't it?
Yeah,
with like the pointer and then the items coming out of them. It just felt very arcadey in like 4 and 5, but yeah, this one felt sort of, each bullet you could feel the impact on the zombie where you're shooting them, like it was hitting their heads or stuff. Like it had a real punch to the bullets.
Yeah, exactly. It remained the survival horror game. It didn't turn into a shooting gallery.
Yeah,
you had to really think about what you were doing. I mean, after I realised you could shoot them twice in the knee and they would go down, and you just had to avoid them from then on, it kind of lost its scare. But once you sort of learn that, then Mr. X turns up, and you can't just shoot him and he goes down. You kind of have to think about where you're going and stuff. Yeah, most of the time you have to
control that camera. Sorry, I
interrupted. You just control it like any other sort of shooter, really.
Yeah, it's basically like your Gears of War, but a bit slower. The original was just like a camera. The director of the game placed the camera where they wanted you to see. But the new one's like Gears of War, sort of third person.
I don't know Gears of War, I'm sorry. No, but can you actually
that's the way to put it. Like the classic is like watch a movie. You don't have control of the camera.
Yeah.
And you are going to the game as the camera change perspective to showing different things, the scenario and enemies. But in the modern ones, you have control of the camera all the time, and the camera is behind you, and you can control where to see, where to aim, and all that. It's a very different experience in that perspective.
So you're like the director of the thing as well as it's not what you do with the character that changes the camera. You actually control the camera like as another character almost. You control the filmmaker. Because I've often wondered that, where when I'm watching Gary and it's spinning round, he's controlling the camera, not the game.
Yeah, it's basically like Call of Duty, which is first person, where you just see the gun. But third person, it basically puts the camera a step back so you can see the person holding the gun.
Yeah.
So it's basically, that's the best way to think about it. So you're directing where your character is pointing his gun, basically.
Right. It's very cool. Although I wish they hadn't done that in sports. I'm watching the rugby and they have that, when he's trying to take a kick and the camera's moving now.
Is
like before I prefer it fixed for sport because I can see what's going on. Whereas now I'm like, going around the stadium, and I can't focus on him because he keeps changing and things, just like that computer game.
Well, they got like drones on the pitch.
Pretty much. I think they have ones like at the middle stand going round the stadium, and then it focuses. But because he's never still, and the angle of him changes, I can't tell if he's kicked it through the posts or not. Because I'm going, wait a minute, where I am and where the posts are keep rotating. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they have a big scrum, and it's overhead, and that camera turns. I'm going, I can't see who's pushing who because it's going round and round. So, yeah.
That's cool.
But I was just curious about how it fixed camera. Can I ask something else as well?
Go for it.
Please let me stay on the stream. What is an A/B game?
Scenario. So A is like, because you got two characters, you got Claire Redfield and Leon Kennedy. You can choose which one of them to play first. So if you say you picked Claire first, you'll start the story with her, you'll complete her story, and then B is the other character,
Right.
like what he was experiencing during your first playthrough. So he's seeing it from a different perspective, like where he was when Claire was doing what you were doing with Claire. That's probably a stupid way of describing it, probably made it more confusing, but
No, I get it.
it's basically an A and B
Play the
story.
game again with, right. Yeah. Ah, okay. And he's saying that's worse than the current version.
In the
The thing was, I mean, in the original game, the thing with the B and A scenario is that you have the two characters, and they are going through the game in different paths, but it's the same history, you know? The events complement each other. Like some character activates some door and that affects the things the other characters see and things like that.
Ah,
But in the remake, it doesn't matter really which character you get. They get also like the same party and the same history, you know.
Okay.
And
So
that
it was-
can say,
It was like you could, if your first playthrough, you'd pick up an item.
yeah.
If you picked that up, it would be gone. So the next person playing, it would be gone, so they couldn't pick it up. Sort of that way,
Right.
sort of the world connected. But yeah,
like
But in
the
this
classic,
time
it makes sense that they are together on that space, and the things that one character do affects the things the other
Yeah,
character
yeah.
are doing as well, and
Yeah,
the things they see. But in the
Right.
remake, it's not like that. It doesn't matter which character you play; both get the same history, and things like this. Like
Right.
in the remake, you face a boss, you know, and it's the same battle and the same thing with the other character, and that makes no sense. Like have both
Right.
characters have the same fight and defeat the same guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, you know, and that's the complaint in that aspect.
Why did they change that then? If that was really...
I don't know.
From the developer perspective, is more work, you know.
Oh, okay.
Try to modify the game to almost like do two different games in the same space.
Yeah.
It's more difficult in that aspect.
Right.
I think for me, I would have rather them just say, okay, this is Leon's campaign, this is Claire's campaign, and it's just a single story,
Yeah.
like, just from two different perspectives, rather than trying to say, okay, well, here's the other side. If the car had spun round at the beginning, because that's what it was at the beginning of the game, the police car would either crash one way, or if you played it from the other character's perspective, the car would spin, and then the characters would go the opposite ways. So I kind of wish I'd just done it as just one. If they weren't going to go whole hog and do two separate scenarios, just leave it as one. Like, everyone would have been happy with that. So yeah.
Cool, that was a good start. Alright, now seeing as MrWillGuitar hasn't played this game, I thought it would be nice to let you have the next talking point. What do you want to throw out there?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had some written down. Nothing as fancy as the iPad. I had a film, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake came to my mind.
Oh God!
I sat in the cinema and watched it.
Oh, there's your first mistake.
Sorry.
I pretended afterwards that wasn't me and they were all mistaken because everyone else in the cinema was laughing. You know when someone's like something's a bit like a considered just cringe-worthy joke, and all the bits that are supposed to be scary, you can almost see them throwing popcorn at the screen, and texting was lame, and so I pretended I wasn't excited at all, and hoped I got away with it. But I actually felt I was excited because I love that series of films, and what else are they going to bring to it, And I think it's a general point with the remakes. You really felt stuck. Stuff that I remember as a kid seeing it, the original. They're trying to do it again here. Like, you can't leave out some of the iconic scenes where they're in the bath and the hand comes through the water, so it's got to be in there. But it's just, and that's why I asked which version of the game had the most impact. It's like, it's shot really well, it's good, but it's not going to have that impact now.
Yeah.
We know it from, it's already in our vocab. When you first launched that on me, it's like, look at that. And you don't even question a lot of these things. What an amazing thing. And you kind of feel, they want to restart the whole thing, so they feel they have to put these things in, but they're no longer the big
reveal,
impactful things that they were. We've seen it. In fact, we've made fun of it in Scream movies or whatever it is. So it's like, it's that rock and a hard place thing. Plus, trying to recreate something that was really groundbreaking again later with different audiences and different expectations.
Yeah.
Again, that's what I was I think that was the whole thinking behind proposing remakes and where they may have got it right and got it wrong. But yeah, because I actually end up feeling sorry for everyone involved in it all, Glenn. I see you really tried your best here. And actually, I thought I could get behind this Freddy guy, even though it's not him. It's like, he's menacing, and, they've done it, and he looks pretty. But teenagers are no longer cool people that drink Diet Pepsi and skateboard and take DeLoreans to the past. These teenagers are depressed beyond pills and gothic and hate themselves, and he's kind of doing them a favor by offering them in this sleep. You're like, it's just not the same anymore, man. So I guess that was the thing of like, could it ever translate, and would it? How would you do it? So I really didn't think they managed it there. But that was what was getting me thinking of how could you have made that a success when it's so iconic and of its time.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched it, like they made it really dark and serious, and that's kind of how I remembered the original films being as a kid.
Yeah.
Like watching it way too young, and like it was, even if you hadn't seen it, just the artwork, like the posters in your local video store, you're like, well, that's like true horror. Like, there's a reason my parents are going to let me watch that. And that's kind of the tone they went for. But then when you actually look back at the originals, they're actually quite goofy and silly, and Freddy's wisecracking and doing funny things, that it then doesn't emulate those films at all.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about that, Jay?
Jay!
Yes. I'm still here, guys. Sorry I've been so quiet. I didn't have much input on the gaming. As you know, I don't have a console, so sorry about that. But it's interesting listening to you guys talk. I did a little list of 1 to 5 films. Films and series. 1 being my favourite remake / reimagining, and 5 being. So at the bottom of my list, I've actually chosen The Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oof.
Now I know. I know. Sorry, guys.
She did nothing Buffy in there. I was waiting for all the Buffy things. She didn't do any of them.
She didn't know, unfortunately. Yeah. But as a remakes go, as American remakes go, I actually really enjoyed them. I saw it before I saw the original.
Yeah.
And I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really spooky. It was very atmospheric. It was really creepy. And I must have been in my early 20s when I first saw it, and I still had to sleep with the lights because it really did freak me out. And then I saw the original, and that was even better, as originals tend to be. And then I found out only after the fact that it was done by the same director who made the original, actually directed American version as well. Which is strange because you don't normally get that. You wouldn't normally get
Yeah, I think it's like that, and a film called Funny Games. The director also did the American remake of that. But I think that's why the American ones did so well. Is so many people hadn't seen the original. Like, I went to see the American Grudge in the cinema with the wife, and that was after I'd seen the original, and it just felt so weird. Like they'd just shoehorned this American actress in there for no reason at all. It didn't help the story. It was just so. And everybody speaking English again. I was just like, I don't understand why you've done this. But
Really?
coming at.
Because she was Buffy. I'm right, oh no, that was Buffy.
Yeah, it was Buffy.
Yeah, okay.
They did the same sort of thing with The Ring, didn't they?
Exactly, yeah. Apart from they stuck a horse in it. Like a weird horse scene.
yes.
But they.
The idea was,
No, go on, Jay. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think what it was is that Sam Raimi and Rob Tapper had both seen it, and they really enjoyed it. And they figured the only way to get an American audience to see this movie, to appreciate the story, is to remake it, unfortunately. I don't see why people can't just go for the original.
Bloody Americans.
Yeah. So that's why we got that version. But yeah, it came to mind because I thought, as remakes go, especially American remakes of J-Hop, that for me is better, of the only one I actually enjoy.
Yeah, I've got a list here because there was a big push for these films. So you had Ring. Was there an American sequel to Ring?
There was, yeah.
There was?
You had Ring too, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they said it was awful, bloody awful. I feel like
There was one about the woman has an eye transplant. I can't for the
The
life
Eye.
of me remember what it's called.
The Eye.
Is it actually called The Eye?
Yeah.
Oh, 'cause-
Yeah, like me and the wife love Japanese cinema, and it was actually good for us because of this big push in America. It pushed, I think, Tartan over here to release all these original Japanese films onto DVD. So it was good in that way. We were getting all these new films that wouldn't ever come out over here without them. But yeah, you had Ring, you had Dark Water. That was a horrible remake too. One Missed Call.
I remember that.
That was a Takeshi Miike film in Japan. You had The Eye, and yeah, you had The Grudge. And then you had a few other films. You had Bangkok Dangerous, which is actually a really good film. But they stuck Nicolas Cage in it, which, it's good for me. I like Nick Cage, but yeah, the film didn't work. And then you had Old Boy with I'm trying to think who the main actor in Old Boy was. Was it the
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin? There we go. Well done. G-Elektrik there to the save, and Samuel Jackson was in it as well. And it was directed by Spike Lee as well. Like, they put some big names behind it, but they just missed the point of the film. They took out the shocking and horrible twist in the film, and I'll never get in that 2 hours back.
Was this all around the same time that sort of 80s slasher films were being remade? Because it's not just Nightmare on Elm Street that got remade. You had Friday the 13th, then you had Rob Zombie's Halloween. They're all kind of around the same time. Like Last House on the Left, I think, was also remade.
Yeah.
House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah. I got a few. You got The Omen. You got that bizarre
The Omen
remake. You had Poltergeist. I never watched the Poltergeist remake. You had Carrie. You had that pointless remake as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wasn't that more recent though?
The little girl with from Kick-Ass.
From
Yeah,
Kick-Ass,
it was.
yeah. I think it was about 5, 6, maybe about 6 years ago. I think that one came out. But yeah, it had got rid of the opening shower scene with all the nude girls. So if you're already making that mistake at the start of your film, why bother?
Gotta go back to the original.
You've got a bit of distortion on your end, Mr. MrWillGuitar.
Distortion?
Yeah, when you're speaking, it's very rustly.
Oh, is it this?
Oh, it's feedbacky now.
Oh, sorry. Don't know what I've done. Any use?
Still there. It's not too bad. We can still make out your voice though.
Okay. Alright.
Now it's constant. Oh, that's right. Okay, G, what do you want to talk about?
I mean, some of the movies that you already comment, I was thinking about. Um, but I got a few. I was thinking to continue to talk about director's cuts, which are like a remake in itself. Previously, when we were talking about the Justice League, and that's a director cut that transforms the movie, like make it a different style of movie. And there is important aspects of what is different from the previous movies. Probably you already watched the 2017 Justice League from Joss Whedon,
Yeah.
comparing to this one, and there is like I watched it both movies almost back to back, and wow, I mean the Whedon style of the theatrical release is very, I don't know what to call it. I mean, I give you some examples.
Is it kind of
his
like Marvel Avengers, that kind of jokey
his
kind
style
of?
is like, no matter if the scene is dramatic or action or wherever is happening, there is always a joke, or the scene have to end in a joke.
It always has to be a quip.
And I almost hate that. Like, for example, there is a scene where Lois Lane is talking with Martha Kent, and they are the scene is about grieving, you know. They are talking about, I mean, I lost my son, I lost my husband, It's like a kind of sad scene about grieving. But then some random guy enters to talk with Lois Lane to ask him about some news, and you have to give me the person that is giving that info. And Lois Lane say something like, I don't give her name. And the guy, so it's a girl. And the guy goes. And Lois Lane like turn to the camera and says, it's not a girl. And stupid just like that. There is, for example, that an action scene, the first scene where they are fighting Steppenwolf. And they are fighting, and some debrief is going to fall over Wonder Woman. And Flash put her, but she falls, and Flash also falls over her, over his chest, and like, I mean, is that kind of things, like Batman. Batman that is a serious character and making some random jokes at
Yeah.
every scene, like he's talking with Aquaman, and so you talk to fish, and stupid things like that. And I hate that style.
Mm.
When you see the Snyder Cut version, you see that as a filmmaker, he understands that if the scene is drama, but make the scene about drama, make the audience feel the grieving of the pain, you know. If the scene is about action, it's action. But in the 2017 Justice League is a joke almost every scene, and I don't like that style in Joss Whedon.
Yeah, I
Uh,
recently rewatched Age of Ultron, and that is another film which is just quip after quip after one-liner after one-liner, to the point my wife was actually coming out with the one-liner before they'd say it on screen. It was so predictable, and it was just like, oh, it's so corny. It doesn't need to
But
be this way.
is right. So my feeling on this is these are comic book based movies. Isn't that kind of the point? Like
yes
Well,
the
and
whole
no. I
Marvel,
mean,
but the whole Marvel thing. Like, I mean, Peter Parker, for example, Spider-Man, is constantly about quips, even in the comics.
yeah, but
Yeah,
then
Deadpool is the same. So
you usually have that character making the quips. But in like the Avenger films, it's like everybody's battling, not the enemy. It's battling each other. Who's going to say the funny line next? So I'm going to say a
yeah,
funny line, and it's like, ugh.
that's an important thing. And talking about again about Justice League. Like Batman has a certain personality. You know, he's a serious guy. He's an experienced superhero at that point. He is not the type of guy that is making random jokes. And about the point that Diddy is making, you can make the movie funny without making jokes all the time. You know, it's about the tone of the movie.
is
And
it?
I
Is
understand
it?
what you say. Go on.
uh, Is it as bad as the? I don't want to say original Batman films, but the the sort of '90s Batman films. I mean, I remember. Um, I think it's Batman and Robin with
Ugh,
Arnie in it
yeah.
as Mister Freeze, and that was quip after quip after quip. And I mean, we can look back at it now and think, well, that's absolutely hilarious. But as a kid, I always thought that was brilliant. And I think, yeah, okay, Batman is a serious character, but I don't know. I think I'm
Yes,
one of
I
those people that
understand.
quite likes these quips.
But in
There was definitely a moment in time for Batman to be serious, and that was the Christian Bale Batman series. You know, that was dark, gritty, and everyone loved that. Um,
Yeah, but he still would have quips in that, and there were funny lines, but they weren't like one like quip quip quip. It was usually quite spaced out throughout the film, and then they had more impact. It was like every now and then you'd have a bit of levity where he'd say something just kind of funny and off the cuff.
Do you think, and that was kind of one of my, call it a subtitle to my suggestion in the thread, is like the affectionate term that Stuart Lee used in his comedy skit was the Warhammer twat. Oh, we just Warhammer twats, and they've made these films for a whole bunch of people that get quip after quip of memes, and because same as, you know, when I'm watching a lot of this, I'm sort of going, yeah, perhaps it's not made for me. Is it good for the audience it's intended? I guess that's kind of what I mean with a lot of remakes and reboots as well. It's like, would a modern someone going to watch a horror movie that hasn't watched them as long as I have, would they like this quip after quip where everyone just seems crazier than me when I'm at my craziest all the time, as they're all about to get killed by something, and they all turn to each other and talk about their underarm body odor, and everyone's just zany and crazy. And
Watch your
is that what
language.
people find? Sorry. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
Like, I think I saw it really late on IT, like something called Superstore in America, in a store in America, and I was watching it, and I'm going, 30 seconds in, I hate everybody, and everybody's just doing this, but it's very successful, and clearly somebody must like this. So our film is being filtered, you know, like what would get me at that time in that culture. Has it moved on into something where everyone's got quip after quip on their phone, and it's quick, and it's just relentless barrage? Kind of like the Predator remake.
Yeah. I mean,
everyone's just wacky and crazy.
I mean, I'm 36 in a few weeks' time, so I am no longer in the big target demographic. I've like aged out by about 3 years, I think. So you might be right. It like these films, I am probably not the target audience. I'm not in the mass market, the people they're looking to attract with these films. So you are probably right. I am a Warhammer twat.
Yes. I've never played Warhammer, but I feel like one of the demographic you mentioned so affectionately in the comments. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I've seen it with some of the reviews of things like Doctor Who, and I was thinking, yes, when I watched it, I was 6, and all the things that I've seen really slagged off since in the modern time, I thought were brilliant when I was 6. It's like music majors pulling apart, I don't know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for how simple it is and how, but take a look at this really great music here. So well, that's kind of meant for a kid who's just learning how to, it's not meant to be compared to like the greatest symphonies in the world. And so I just wonder with some of the remakes and so forth. Because everything that criticised the films I liked when I was watching and wasn't that demographic, I read all the criticisms and I agree with all of them, and that's probably why I like them. You know what I mean? It's like I agree with everything and I love it. But you can see that it doesn't mean the criticisms are wrong. It just means I didn't mind or that even attracted me to the film. So I do wonder with the modern jokey thing. I find it just you have to just go lie down and go. None of this is funny. But maybe that's the hashtags I make fun of. Maybe that's really what is considered funny now. I don't know.
Indeed.
Yes.
You could probably look at this by saying that the Josh Whedon version was aimed more at the kids that are going to buy the toys and the games and stuff, because they want the funny, cool comic book characters, and then there's the Snyder Cut is for the comic book fans, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
My thing is about the tone. Like coming back to what you say about Batman. Like the Batman and Robin movie have that tone, it's a stupid movie. It's a movie for kids, you know? And jokes in that movie works. Like let's say Avengers. The Avengers movie have that tone. They are not serious movies. And random jokes works in that movies because the tone of that movie. But coming back to Justice League, Zack Snyder conceived it as a more dark and serious movie, and that's why is the contrast with the jokes. But my complaint really is about the tone of every scene. You know, if the scene is drama, why you have to put a joke in there? You know, if the scene is action, why you have to put a joke in the middle of the end of the action? Let the audience breathe and understand what is going on. I understand that the movie have to be fun. It's good when the joke works, when the joke is well implemented, but also have to balance things. Uh, like um, like you have to read the things that is going on. Doesn't have to be a joke in almost every scene. That's my complaint. I mean, the jokes work. It's good that the movie have jokes, but if the movie is dark, if the movie is serious, if the scene is drama, why you have to put a joke? That's my complaint. Yeah. Also, another thing that I was thinking about the difference in both versions, in both direction styles, is something that is a kind of subtle but is present in the Joss Whedon's movies, and you can see that in Justice League and in Avengers movie. And I'm talking about the sexualization of female hero characters. Like when you see Wonder Woman appear, for example, there is a scene in the classic Justice, well, classic no,
Classic. Original.
In the 2071 version of Justice League. There is a scene where Bruce Wayne is fixing his plane, his up, and Wonder Woman is entered that hangar, and the camera is right on her butt where he's walking. You know?
All right.
And while they are talking, the camera is on her butt. Later, when he's talking to Cyborg, she's walking on the street and the camera is right on her butt. You know? And they are talking and the camera is right on her butt.
You've taken a lot of notice of this.
Scenes, the scene where the Amazon.
This is why you like this film.
I mean, of course, I like woman, but why that have to be that way? You know?
It's a bit creepy, isn't it?
Like exactly. It's not about how can I put it? It's like it's not taking the hero, like the female, seriously. Like make her a sexual object. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but like with Superman, it's always like focused on his chest, like his muscles, usually an angle with just his arm muscles and stuff. And like, why can't the woman be strong like that? It's always sort of pointing upwards, and seeing the crack of her ass and her breastplates and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely see that. Like, why can't she just be freaking powerful?
Haven't you just kind of answered your... So, I mean, this might be a bit controversial, but you've just highlighted it yourself. Is that you said, when you see Superman, it's all about, his abs, his muscles. It's big, strong. I mean, I don't look like that. But that's what women are attracted to, or some women are attracted to. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but there was a scene in the Zack Snyder cut of the Amazonians, like when Steppenwolf comes to the Themyscira. Like, it is showing the Amazonian women, like they are buff and they're like smacking down the pillars to shut the gate. Like, they look like freaking powerful warriors. It's not like the camera's on the floor with a fisheye lens, like making their butts look big.
That's the thing. Like I understand why you with superheroes, like physicality is an important aspect, but it's not the highlight of the hero I mean, the important aspect of Wonder Woman is not that she has a good butt, she's a strong warrior. Like why you have to focus on that aspect of her, it's kind of weird. And in the Superman is the same thing. I understand that, as I said, physicality is an important aspect. He's a strong guy, and visually is a way to tell in that he's strong with big muscles and of that. But I think you are right in the aspect of Snyder highlight that in a different way. Like he show how they are strong doing a strong thing,
Yeah.
In the scene of the Amazon is the same thing. Like we don't kind of focus on the sexual aspect of the Amazons, like they are good looking. But in the Snyder Cut, you see them as a warrior race. They are. It's very similar to what they did with 300.
So if I could just sort of interject. So I mean, you're commenting a lot on the Wonder Woman scenes, but isn't there a scene in that? And correct me if I'm wrong, but definitely it was in the marketing of Jason Momoa with his top off.
Yeah, he randomly keeps having shirts and then taking them off. Yeah, I don't know where he keeps getting these shirts from.
and I mean, I'm fine with that. I mean, it's not always just women that are over or hypersexualized. sometimes it's men as well. But then there is a reason for that, and it's because that's these kind of things are nice to look at, so that draws in more of an audience. Because I mean, I know my other half would definitely go to see that film purely because Jason Momoa is in it, because she watched Game of Thrones and she loved the character in that, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that said the same. Like a few people on my social media that would never see a superhero movie, but went because Jason Momoa's in it.
Yeah, but that again, why should that be considered a bad thing? The whole point of them making these movies is not necessarily to tell these stories, but is to make money at the end of the day. They are studios, and
maybe because there aren't many films not doing it. So like you've got like say I don't know Kick-Ass we talked about earlier. Like I can't remember some Aaron Taylor is the guy who plays Kick-Ass. Like he's not attractive overly. He's not buff.
I wouldn't say that. I'm pretty sure he is quite buff now.
He is now. Like he did buff up for the Godzilla film, but back in that he was just like a scrawny little, little boy. But like there are very few female superhero films or characters in films that I'm guessing that when it is all like Scarlet Johansson in leather, like one-piece leather suits, and Anne Hathaway in a one-piece catsuit, and maybe if there were more examples of just your average female hero, maybe it wouldn't stick out so much.
But can you name a male superhero that doesn't have pecs and abs?
What about Chris Pratt in the original Guardians? Was he buff in that?
I think he's still quite buff in a lot in a couple of the Guardians, in two Guardians films, I think.
What's the point of superheroes? I think as well, or at least as I understood it, you would want to be the hero. That's something you would aspire to, and so it's not just the lady would like to look at those big muscles, but as a guy, wow,
I agree.
Powers in the muscle. So it would be a little more kind of what's the word? Controversial to do these things.
I'll be 2 seconds.
Most clothes and fashion kind of also does that. So I just always assumed and maybe rightly, wrongly, I don't speak for anybody, but I thought, oh yeah, not excessive buttock shots, by the way. Did that change in the Snyder cut? Is that what you were referring to as well? Did Snyder take those
I was talking about the different style, like talking about remakes and reimaginings. You can see the different style between both directors. Things that I want to highlight that they make different, like a different feel to the movie. And coming back to that point, excuse me, Jay.
This is Jay. Oh, okay, he's gone. Oh, he's getting some weird feedback from Jay then. Carry on. We can hear you now.
I understand what you say about like male heroes. Like let's talk about that scene of Aquaman. He's taking his shirt and look kind of sexy, for the woman. But it's not the sexuality the highlight of that shot. Is that to make him look strong and work with the water, like there's waves of waters coming to him and the water clashing on him, and the highlight of that scene is not the sexy aspect of him, when Widow put the camera on the butt of Wonder Woman, is the sexy aspect of that, There's nothing less to highlight there. He is not showing he's a warrior, he's strong, It's only to show that he has a good butt. But in the Aquaman scene, he's showing other things. It's not only that he looks sexy, but also that he's strong, and it's the water in that scene. You know, like showing other things. It's not only about the sexy aspect of the hero.
I don't know though, because there's plenty. I mean, I actually like the Wonder Woman film. For I've seen it, but there's plenty to show that she's really pretty badass. But I also think, and again, like I said, I'm not a mind reader, but in the way that a man would go, look at the physique and I could aspire to that and have those powers. I'm pretty sure I hear ladies talk about how to get a good backside a lot of the time. So I just wonder if it's not quite as creepy as it may seem. Although I've heard stuff about this just, so I haven't gotten into it. Or if that's something that's quite aspirational to our lady friends. I can't speak for them, but like maybe that's they would love to be a powerful warrior with a great buttocks.
Well, hopefully, we'll get some more of the female community on in a future stream, and maybe we could ask them, and they could put their input on it.
What they think, yeah.
Okay, I think we should probably move on from Justice League, or it's pretty much just a Justice League show.
Can we not talk about buttocks?
Talking about sort of director's cut, did anybody catch the director's cut of The Godfather Part 3 that came out last year? Francis Ford Coppola basically went back and re-edited and got old footage and I think created new footage to basically do the same as Zack Snyder's done with the most hated Godfather part. I haven't actually watched it myself.
How did he get new footage? He
Um,
couldn't have had any of the lead actors in it, surely.
no, I think I'm not actually sure how they did it. There was a small documentary about it, but I didn't watch that either.
Or footage that didn't get you. Well, I have a question. Which would you consider the remake? Joss Whedon's one that went out because it was not the one that was intended, or this one because who do you class as the remake of Justice League? Because clearly what happened wasn't the original film, or was it? You know, the 2017 version.
Yeah. I mean,
is that the
you
remake?
can consider.
Or...
Yeah, sure. You can consider both a remake. And I think I want to be clear that I'm not blaming Whedon, because you have to understand what happened at that time. Like they hired that guy, and they say him basically like turn this dark movie into a very lighthearted movie. You know, you have to make it Marvel style.
Yeah.
But they didn't move the release date. The movie was to be released at the same day.
Yeah.
So he also don't have extra time to work on that. They have to take all that scenes that were already shooted and transform all that. Like people call it a Frankenstein movie, and it really is, because he have to work in that circumstances.
So his is the
So
remake,
it's
Yeah.
a remake in that aspect, sure.
Yeah.
But also I think that this new version is also different. I'm sure that is not the exact movie that Snyder was planned. Like some years already passed, and he for sure have another perspective, and he also changed more things. So this is also a remake of his previous movie as well.
Right.
Cool.
I think both are remakes.
Sorry, I derailed us.
No worries. Diddy, you want to go back to your notes?
Oh, have you? Are you done with
Yeah.
the?
No more Justice League.
Put a ban on it. Cut it out.
So I've got 5 different things down here. Actually, I think I've got 6 different things. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip it up a bit. So I don't know how loose you want to, or how. Is it? Sure, it's loose. Oh, hard and fast with this.
Yeah, go
Can't think of the right
casual.
words. Anyway, right. So something that really had an impact on me when I was very younger was Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory, and I would call this a reimagining, but they did Reanimation,
Oh yeah.
which was a fantastic album. They got various DJs in to remix the Hybrid album. I think Executioners were quite prominent on that album, and I still listen to that to this day. Absolutely fantastic. I put down here stays true to the feel of the songs, so they remix the songs, but it still stays true to the kind of. I'm really lost for words today. But the feeling, the emotions that come out of the songs, they stays true to them, even though they're remix, and they're often quite not dancey remix, I guess, but
Some of them are like really different, like styles of
some of
songs,
them
and
are, some of them are, yeah, but you still get the same feel
oh
from the
yeah,
lyrics. And in terms of bad points, I've actually put there are no bad points. I could listen to that album exactly the same as I could listen to the Hybrid Theory album. I think it's a fantastic album. It was my first sort of introduction to kind of rock music. Love the DJ in Linkin Park, and Mike Shinoda is a brilliant sort of rapper.
wasn't one of the last songs on the album with Chino from Deftones? I think he worked
I
on one.
would have to look it up. I bought one of they did like a limited edition kind of album cover thing that I remember buying, and yeah, I literally haven't got anything else to say about that, but I really wanted to throw that one out there because I thought it was a bit of a unique take on the remake.
Yeah, there's
aspect.
a lot of metal magazines like Metal Hammer. Every now and then will release a CD. Like the last one I probably heard was The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, where they get lots of different bands to remake a song on that album in their own style, and that's a kind of a cool, nifty idea. It's like that band I can't. A really cool band. Trying to think what they are called. They did a take on cancer on that album. 21 Pilot. Is it 21 Pilots?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a really cool, like, really emotional and very artsy version of that song. But yeah, that's cool. Never really thought about music remakes.
So at that sort of time, I was about 12, 13 when that sort of came out. So I was in between my rocky kind of phase and my skater chav phase. So that was kind of a nice mix up of both. You know, you could be on both sides of that fence and listen to that album, and still people wouldn't hate you for it. So yeah, that's my second one.
Awesome.
Why did you
I mean, in music, I think there are more remade songs than remade movies. That's what the music is called a cover. You know, there is very bands that make covers and change the song and make a very good versions of the songs.
Yeah, think of any pop song from the 70s or 80s, and there's a punk cover of it, or ska punk.
Very good. Oh. Now that you mentioned that, I want to mention a band that I really like. Probably you don't know the band because it's more popular here in America, more in South America. The band is called Soda Stereo. And the aspect that I want to highlight of that band is that they remade their songs all the time. In the aspect of they release the main song on their albums, but if you go to the concert, they usually or most of the time they introduce a new intro to the song, or they change the flow of the song. Maybe the song was fast, now is slow, or things like that, or they introduce arrangement in the song, and in all concert they change their songs, and I like that. I like that aspect of the band is a really good thing that they are remaking their songs. But coming back to the music, is really good that you mentioned that, because as Rio says, like there is many classic songs that other bands or other style of bands change. Like he said, there is a very common movement of change, like some random song and turning into a metal song, or into a rock fast song, and so can become very good. And there is also another song that transform into a very better songs with a remake.
Yeah,
You see,
I
David
think
Bowie, on any of his characters, he'd redo all his songs in the new character, and they're nothing like the versions that got famous, you know. So when he's Ziggy Stardust, they're all rock songs, and when he's Aladdin Sane, it's the same songs, and some songs from like the early 70s, he's redoing when he's doing drum and bass in the late 90s. He's remade his songs himself more than anyone I've known, and they never sound like, you know, he always adds something or brings something new in it. So
but then
yeah,
isn't that kind of the good thing about these kind of remakes and stuff, especially with music, is it brings it to a whole new audience. So like you say,
Yeah,
like with the
sure.
rock covers, you're you're taking a song that was like a, I guess, a pop music song, and bringing it to a whole new audience that would not have listened to that song otherwise. Um, I mean, one that I really like, and it's quite poppy in itself, but is "Smooth Criminal" by Alien Ant Farm. I
yes,
absolutely love that song, and that was around about the kind of rock skater kind of time as well. Uh, and I love Michael Jackson anyway, so it was nice to hear a different take on that kind of iconic song, and
and it was good,
I like that.
good.
Mm,
It's strong and
mm.
yeah, yeah.
All right, Mr. WillGuitar, what do you want to talk
Oh,
about next?
yes. My list is jumbled up. It's not chorus and reverb. So that's about it. I've got a few. All right. I had a thing where, like, and maybe it's a discussion point, where things are called the same title, but really aren't anything like the original at all. And I always think, well, or maybe this is, I've heard bits and pieces said on various videos that it's so hard to get people to buy into something new, so they'll take something that everyone knows the name of and remake basically a totally new story, um, but it's got that name, so it gets some headlines. And that gave me. I thought that sounds about right. Just thinking, would I actually take the time to discover something new? Will you tell me something named that the same thing as something maybe I watched before? And I go, oh, okay, I remember what that is. And one I've got down here was obviously Battlestar Galactica. We made that. With it. Really, to me, there's nothing. They're not. You know, people were asking which do you prefer. No, it's really not the same show at all. You know, the whole sort of clunky 70s robots and the almost Star Wars looking thing with a cute dog toy versus this, which seemed like some serious attempt on a proper sort of epic. Um, this isn't the same show. They've got some of the same names, but this is like a whole new series. You know, I don't know if you guys feel the same or not, but that's probably the strongest one for me, where it just feels like they had to say something that the name was familiar or had a brand, so that people would sit and listen. Like if someone comes with a totally new show name, you go what? But if you call it Star Trek something, everyone has that. There's a bit of legacy there, even if you're making something totally not related at all, apart from very just the same name. So I think that was my one. And by the way, I love that Battlestar Galactica. It took me a long time to watch it, but when I did, it was pretty good. So, yeah,
So,
not really a remake to me. Just like a whole new wonderful thing with the same name.
so which did you prefer in that instance then?
I think I preferred the new one because it was a proper budget and that seemed like a big deal. Whereas I think the original one was kind of like, as a kid, the Star Wars, you don't top it at the time, and then this is several tiers below it, so it never kind of. Whereas the remake or reimagining, really strong entry in its own right. So impact at the time. Whereas like your Freddy Krueger from the top of his tree came out, and this remake is really down there compared to the modern horror. I'd say this Battlestar Galactica is quite revolutionary. But really, it's not the same show. It's not the same thing at all. And I kind of thought, yeah, that's another thing about remakes or reimagining. Often it's the title. So I don't know if you guys.
I can't think of any other instance where that actually happens, and not. I've not seen Battlestar Galactica, and I'm probably going to be shot down in the chat for that. But I can't think of anywhere else where that's actually happened. Where you've had.
I was thinking,
it's a really good idea, like a really good talking point. But I can't think of anything.
I was thinking there was a slate of films a few years ago, like you had RoboCop, Total Recall, and it's such a strange decision I think they made where you took something with that name, you take the name RoboCop, and like people my age, our age, think of the 1980s RoboCop, the extremely violent, satirical, like just badass movie. But then you bring it to a new audience. The modern audience don't give a shit about 1980s RoboCop unless they really are into films. You're kind of upsetting the people that did grow up with that RoboCop because you've made some weird CG garbage fest that sort of has none of the same points or ideas as the original. And it's kind of a generic bad film anyway that the new audience aren't going to care about this film either. To the point where it's like, I don't understand why, instead of calling it RoboCop or Total Recall, why not just say inspired by? Give it a new name and say, we made this film because we love that 80s RoboCop. And if you love it too, you'll see our little nods and our Easter eggs to this film. But it's our own thing, so it's not going to piss you off that we've just took a big turd on the thing you love.
on that subject though, with the RoboCop and Total Recall, I don't think I've seen it because it's Colin
Farrell. Yeah, Farrell.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one, but with the RoboCop, the premise is still the same though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
almost.
Yeah, I guess
it's a good cop that gets injured and they turn him into a half man, half robot, and that's kind of where the similarities end.
I kind of wish that I'd watched the Battlestar Galactica stuff so that I could wade in more with the differences, because that's actually a really good talking point. Is the things that borrow names from what is essentially a good brand to then sell something that is completely different.
I was thinking comedies did it with 21 Jump Street. Did anyone see that film? Where they took this really old TV series and then they just made a modern film comedy, which kind of really takes the piss out of the idea of the original series, and they were really good.
I've watched 21 Jump Street because it's Jonah Hill and the guy from Step Up, isn't it?
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
That Channing Tatum. But I never saw the original series. I always thought it was. Yeah, I mean, I guess like you say, it's just that they've taken the kind of premise of it and made a film that basically pokes fun at the series that it's borrowing its IP from.
But like, it was a massive hit as well. It made a lot of money, but then it also reminded me of when it's failed. I've got a few here. Excuse me. So you had Starsky and Hutch with Ben Stiller.
Was it Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson that did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, yeah. Dukes of Hazzard.
Recently, you had Baywatch. That kind of didn't do very well at all.
The Rock in that?
Yeah, The Rock and
Right, okay. I saw some pictures of him, yeah.
The guy from High School Musical.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Actually, Zac Efron. That's one.
Zac Efron. That's it.
You also had Green Hornet. Did anyone watch the Green Hornet movie? Seth Green?
I watched
No,
it.
Seth
I
Rogen.
watched the Seth Green.
Oh,
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, right.
But yeah, they didn't do that well. Not as well as 21 Jump Street, anyway.
Back in a minute.
No worries. I'm just going to go through anything else I got on my list because we are getting quite late here. I've got sort of reboots. So I was thinking like American Pie: The Reunion, films that take up something that was popular and then there's a big chunk of time in between a sequel.
Hello?
Hello, hi Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Yay!
Sorry guys. This is some really bad connection. So sorry.
You've been eating good food, haven't you, while we've been talking?
God, I wish.
You sold us out, Jay.
Yes. No, again, I'm so sorry, guys. Sorry about it. It's where I live at the moment. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I have the
Good
same
to hear you,
problem
man.
when I'm trying to watch- Yeah, I have the same problem when I'm trying to watch things with Alexis and Tom, and it's throwing me out the Discord, so apologies. But I'm still here.
Okay.
So yeah, so I've got American Pie: The Reunion. I've got Bill and Ted, Face the Music, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, Blade Runner 2049, Blair Witch 2016, Dumb and Dumber 2, Creed, Jurassic World, Mad Max, and Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
They vary in quality. They vary in how successful they were. But a lot of I really like Tron Legacy. I find the original Tron quite hard to watch these days, but Legacy, I thought it was an enjoyable watch.
I saw the original in the cinema. My mum took me.
Oh wow!
How old am I? Ooh. Loved it.
Old enough to get your vaccine, I think.
Not yet. Maybe
Aw.
tomorrow. Maybe I'm in the demographic tomorrow. No, I like the sequel too, though, man. That was good.
And Blade Runner, I thought was a good sequel as well, and that's like after a film that had 4 or 5 cuts and versions to finally get a sequel, and that sequel is very arty and very out there. Like, I'm not sure how that director got that film made, like through a big studio. You think most studios would be like, nah.
It was a big tax write-off that year or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we better start wrapping up soon. So, has anyone got any final points or things they wanted to mention?
Yes, I want.
Oh, everybody's
No, yeah,
popular.
Everyone's got some.
How about we let Jay, because Jay hasn't had much time.
Yeah, Jay.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you. Two I really did want to mention is the recent It movies. I know it's not really a remake, but when you compare it to the original 90 miniseries, people tend to consider it, which it isn't. It's not a remake of that show. It's a retelling of that. But that's definitely up there with one of my favourite reimaginings. recent years. And also, number one on my list was Sherlock.
All right, the
Sherlock
TV
with
series.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yes. That was number one on my list. That was just brilliant. That really got me interested in the original Conan Doyle series as well. It's a fantastic series. I love, the performances, the actors, the story. It's really good what they did there, taking it and setting, putting it in a modern setting, reintroducing it, which it did for me. So yeah, that's one that was.
With Benedict Cumberbatch, or as in the Discord, butternut crinkle fries.
Yes.
Doctor Strange.
One of my favorite. Doctor Strange, that's right. Yeah. So that's been one of my favorite dramas. Great since Doctor Who. So yeah, just definitely. I just wanted to mention that one. Get that one in there.
Cool.
Hello.
Is there any others, Jay? Just in case we lose you.
Well, I also had. Yes. I also had The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Because that's also a remake.
Yeah, I made a small list of. It's John Carpenter's The Thing. You got The Fly, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like the 80s was a prime time for awesome remakes.
The Fly is also. I forgot about The Fly. That's a really good one. Yeah, that should have been number 2 on my list actually. Awesome.
All right, I think Diddy, get the iPad out.
So, on my list, I have Final Fantasy VII, fantastic remake. Graphics are exactly how I imagined them when I was like 10 years old, so that was nice. Changed the story just a little bit to accommodate for the fact that it's a remake, which was also nice. I've put down here bad points. I would have preferred an option for turn-based combat. I think with the Final Fantasy games, the turn-based combat was really something key for me. I've also got down here, which some of you might not know is an actual remake, but Gone in 60 Seconds. The Nick Cage version is actually the remake. Friday the 13th, but I think we've covered 80s slashers. And the last on my list was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Again, going back to my nostalgia days. So yeah, that was my list.
With Gone in 60 Seconds, and I think it was the same with Ocean's 11. If you went into like HMV or your DVD supermarket, when those films were coming out, you'd always see like the original film, and they'd like dolled up the front cover to kind of make it look like the new film coming out. Because I'm sure they tricked one or two people in going, "Oh, I've seen that on the TV. I'll buy that." And then they get home and it's some really old ass film. It's like, "Ooh, that's not George Clooney."
So for Gone in 60 Seconds, I caught the very sort of end of it, and I was younger, and I knew it was out there, and it took me absolutely ages to track down a DVD. Obviously, now that Amazon's out, it's easy to track down a DVD. You just go on there and click on Gone in 60 Seconds. But yeah, I bought it and I've watched it a fair few times. Such a brilliant film. And what's even more interesting about it is the fact that, the policemen in it are actual policemen. The firemen are actual firemen.
Oh, wow.
It was such a low budget that they had to get people in the community to basically act the roles that they were doing anyway.
Wow.
And they had this massive, I think it's either 40 minutes or an hour long car chase. Again, it's a Mustang, the same as Nick Cage version. But he absolutely trashes this Mustang, and then he swaps it in a... it's one of those drive-through car washes. So like, the woman goes in, puts her car there, it comes out the other end, and he puts his in at the back end and then walks around to the front and steals this woman's car. really funny. If you get a chance, definitely watch it. It's such a good film.
I'll definitely give that a go.
Imagine getting fired from that film set for not being a convincing policeman when you're actually a policeman. The director fires you. You're just not convincing as a fireman. Sorry, right? Go back to putting out fires.
Yeah, write you a ticket.
Yeah, go back to your actual job.
Yeah.
Okay, G, got any more?
Yeah, but kind of also you
honest,
already mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
No, go, Jay. What you want to say? Jay?
I was
yeah,
just.
sorry.
Jay.
Sorry, Electric. I thought you said J, as in not G. I thought you said J. I also wanted to throw in Evil Dead 2, because that, in a sense, is like a remake of the original, just with a better budget. Yeah, so that was another one I had on my list.
Oh, Jay's thinking outside the box.
where Ash became Ash.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had the remake on my list of the one that was recent.
Oh right, yes.
Jay's point in the and that was one where it really I loved it right until, can I spoil it? Everyone's seen it, right?
Go for it.
It was like the original intention of the Evil Dead was horror, and this remake was horrific and gruesome, and it was nasty, and then they had to come back and do all these Ash things, and no, that killed it for me. Only Ash can do them,
No, that's right.
for me.
I agree. Yeah.
So it was like you so nearly had a perfect reimagining because it was horrific. It wasn't the swashbuckling Ash stuff.
Yeah.
It was meant it had gone back to the horror, and then he comes out. I almost expected it to put the chainsaw on and look at the camera and give a wink and say an Ash quote. That's how in my face that bit was. But that was one compared to the Nightmare on Elm Street one. It just really, oh my gosh, my head's in my hand. This one was like, you've got it, and then just at the last minute, you thought, someone has to do all this Ash stuff, and we've not got it. She can do it. It's like, no, it would have been fine without Ash, because what you were trying to do was bring us, that same impact that we had back then, but in a new way, and you almost had it, but I just wish it had the guts to just make it their new thing for their new audiences, rather than try and put Ash where he isn't. Like I'd love any new film with any of those ones from his series. They're all great characters, so you could do it without Ash. I just wish for me, I just wish they'd gone, yeah, we can make her into something. She doesn't have to do your 10 favourite Ash moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was
Awesome. So yeah, G-Man.
Yes, the last thing I want to talk is that kind of remake that become the definitive version. Like when you talk about that movie, maybe there is a lot of people that don't acknowledge the remakes, and you already mentioned some of them. I have two examples of that. One is the Scarface.
Yeah.
Maybe you know is the 80s Scarface with
Al Pacino.
what's his name? With Al Pacino, which is a very good movie. But the original movie is from the 30s. It's about the alcohol prohibition that was in America. Was about that gangster escaping in the gangster ranks, and we came out the De Niro version. It became the definitive version. It's a very different version about drugs, and it's a very good movie, very good movie. Another example of that, as Jay said, was The Thing. The Thing is the definitive version of The Thing. The original movie is from the 50s and is more in the vibe. At that time was very prominent the UFO thing. So it's about a UFO that lands in Antarctica, and some people find a UFO and take a sample of ice, and it's the alien there, and it's about the characters more of the alien. But I think the definitive version is the John Carpenter version that worked very well with the suspicion aspect of you don't know where or who is the thing and all that, and the very good special effects is the definite version, the thing. And the other example of that you already mentioned also is The Fly. The 80s Fly is the definitive version, but the original version is also a very good movie from the 50s or 60s, I think.
Yeah.
That I really like that movie. It's about a woman that is framed for kill her husband, but you then discover that her husband was a scientist that was experimented with the flies, and in that movie, the guy had only the head of the fly and the hand of the fly, and it's a very strange movie. And one thing that always
sorry.
no, it's okay. That one aspect that I really love of that movie is it the hand like I don't know how to call it. At the end, you discover that the fly as well have the head of the guy, and it's a very I mean the thing creeped me out, but because you see the fly trapped in a web spider, and you see the fly, but it's the head of the guy that is screaming, and it's the spider approaching to eat him, and it's a very off. But the thing have that twist that is the guys that were investigating have a rock and splash the fly and the spider. Oh, that's a very good scene.
Yeah.
But the definitive version is the 80 version. That's a very good movie as well, with the guy that is experiment with teleporting, and he has a bad moment with the woman he loves, so he turned into the machine, and the fly enters. At the beginning, it's a very good, interesting movie because it's like a superhero movie in some way. He got the powers of the fly, and it's very interesting in that aspect. But the movie have that turn that he is the villain of the movie. He starts to turn into a more bad guy, and he have not only like a psychological transformation, but also his body starts to transform, and is very good effects or how he is transforming into the fly. Like his body start to deteriorate, but later, almost at the end of the movie, like he removes the human skin, under that is the real fly, and that aspect of the movie is really really good. And then he wants to transform again into a human, putting his girl into the machines, but all that went bad as well. He transformed itself into the machine and the fly, and it's an amalgam of that. It's a very freaking ugly monster, and that aspect of the movie is very good. And there is other movies as well that become the definitive version, and I want to talk about those three that are the more knowledgeable movies for everyone. That's all I want to say.
Brilliant. All right, well, unfortunately, we're going to have to call it a night there for...
The Hulk. That's the one thing that inspired all this, by the way. I did watch it, and maybe you should show your little ones that, because I think it's a horror movie meant for kids.
I'm still trying to make them build up the courage to show them Beetlejuice. They're so scared of anything right now that trying to sell the Hulk as a horror is probably not good.
Yeah, don't do that.
But yep, I gotta be up early, so we're gonna have to draw the show to a close there. If any of you guys want to pick the next topic, have a think in the next week or so, and then we'll pick a date and sort out the next show. But
You guys are awesome.
oh, you guys are awesome. I super appreciate hanging out with you guys. It's the most I've seen people's faces in the last, well, in 2021. I've seen you guys more than anyone else, apart from the wife and kids. So it's awesome, and it's cool to hang out with you guys. But yeah, so again, on the top left we got Diddy, in the middle we got G-Elektrik, on the top right we got MrWillGuitar, and we've got Jay right there in the bottom right. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show, and I hope you can join us on the next show, which should be sometime sort of mid-April, when I will then be a year older. Boo.
Hey, I put your Twitch thing on my computer and I've been gaining channel points.
Awesome.
Yeah, I checked it. That's what they're called, channel points.
Well, you can't make me hydrate because I've finished my drink.
I'll make you. No. When you next stream, I'll just
save them up.
There's a few thousand, so get a few cans.
I'll line them up. You can make me choose which drink to drink. That'd be awesome. But I'd like to say thanks for everybody joining us in the chat.
Yeah, man.
Matt Mitchley and Tarman, I've seen you chatting a lot.
Yeah, they should come here and do this, man.
Yeah, I think Tarman had a college in the morning, so.
Okay, fair enough.
But it was awesome for him to be in the chat. But yeah, the show's open to everyone on the Off the Shelf Reviews Discord channel. Come and chat and discuss everything you love. Everybody make sure to check out the newest film review on the Off the Shelf Reviews, which was the Dunwich Horrors, I believe, this week. And make sure to join Gary in his live Twitch streams, which shall be live tomorrow at about 1:30. So again, guys, thanks for joining me, and to everybody else, a good night.
You guys, have a good night.
Bye, Jay.
Good night, guys.
All right.